up YouTube, Big Red here, and welcome to another one of my videos. Today I'll be running you through the paintwork on this Toyota RAV4, colour code 4T3. Alright, as you can see I'm blowing it down, giving it a good tack rag, making sure my tape's stuck down there. I do this with every job. You won't always see it in my videos, but I always clean and tack rag before I start work. Pretty simple one with this one here. We just got a new rear door, a little repair there on the dog leg, and blend quarter and front door, guys. And what you can see on that door is we've had a bit of a repair, so all that light grey spray around the primer is just epoxy because there's a lot of bare metal there, and the wet on wet or sealer can only adhere to so much bare metal at one time. So you lay down some epoxy first, and that just helps seal it off and for the primer to adhere to it. So once again, we are using the Jet 100BF 1.4 setup for putting the wet on wet on. It's not a bad gun actually. At first I didn't really like it, to be honest. It has a not a very big fan. Like, I'm used to using the Jet 5000s and even the 4000s, and the fan pattern on them is quite large up close, whereas the 100BF, I found you have to stand back pull the gun back a bit further to get such a wide fan. A bit like a DeVilbiss really, nothing wrong with it. Each to their own. At first I just didn't like it. Took me a lot of getting used to. So what we're doing there is first double coat on the blend areas. Like I said before, I just try to put the same amount of coats and everything on each panel. That way it all starts the same and finishes the same. Once again, I'm using the Jet 5000 WSB setup. I'm using the Envirobase HP water-based paint. It's not a bad product. It took a little bit of getting used to, and I must admit it is a lot better than Deltron solvent base. That stuff was horrible. I think a lot of that, like these days, a lot of people don't like the PPG, and that's solely based on how their solvent base used to perform, which I don't blame them, but this product has definitely come a long way since then, as I have used them both, and I love this stuff. I've tried Glazerite waterborne, I've tried Wonder waterborne. This stuff is it's definitely a lot nicer than those. A lot easier too, user friendly, I believe. The colours match pretty good most of the time. You do get the odd rogue colour, but you get that with any paint system really, guys. In coverage on these colours, I think I said in my last video, it's actually not bad. Most of the colours cover pretty well. In my workshop we use the RPS for base coat, and then we just use PPS for clear coat. I don't know why, that's just what they do, so that's what I do. I also own the Jet 4000 WSB as well, and I've noticed the difference with the 4000 and the 5000. Just the 5000 atomizes a bit finer, and when you've got full fan on the 5000, the fan doesn't tend to distort or break up easily. Like on the 4000 with a wide open fan, you've almost got it splitting into two. Like the center pattern of the fan is almost completely gone, whereas the 5000 it just holds a continuous pattern a little bit nicer. The 4000 WSB is still a nice gun to spray with, but I just found you just had to close that fan in just a fraction to get a nice consistent even pattern, whereas a 5000 mate, just leave it open and go for it. Yeah, a bit hard to get in underneath that stand sometimes, unfortunately. But that's what we have and that's what we run with. I like to get right under there with all my colour and that, make sure it's all covered underneath. I mean, you never see it, but I know from factory some cars pretty much have no paint under the door edges there, but I like to put it there. I think it's the right thing to do.
No, he didn't. She turned 15 before I found out about it.
It's quite a warm day when I was painting this actually. It's lucky it wasn't humid. We had a bit of humidity not long ago and it was causing the paint to take forever to dry, which is a big pain in the ass really. When you got moisture in the air and you're trying to draw moisture out of the paint so it dries, it really doesn't help. But yeah, standard procedure on this one. We're doing a double base coat at the beginning. That will pretty much give us our coverage. Then I'll do a single coat just to ensure it's covered properly, but I'll pull back a little bit on the gun just to help even out the pattern as it lays down a bit nicer, and then we'll finish off with a nice tech coat. So my settings for painting base coat is I have the fluid 2 turns out and I spray at 1.3 to 1.4 bar. Now I think 1 bar is roughly 14.5 psi. I'm not 100% sure on that, guys, but I'm pretty sure it's roughly what the conversion is. So I'll use that setting for my coverage, my double coverage coats, and then my single coat. And then I'll wind the fluid tip in so it's 1.25 turns out, and I'll drop it down to about 1 bar, 1.1 bar. Pull back from the panel a fair bit, go a bit slower and just lay a nice even technique coat down. And what that does is just helps everything sit down nice and flat and evenly. So yeah, and it's also what PPG recommend. On that door you can just see where there was a bit of sanding marks. So I had a bit of dirt come onto the panel there, so I just had to sand that back with a bit of 1000 grit. Not too rough, of course. And then yeah, just fill it back up with some paint and keep going as it was. It's a bit of a rush that day. When I did this video, we were quite busy, so I didn't really have time to mess around making sure the GoPro was running while I was denibbing that door. So that's why unfortunately you guys didn't get to see that footage. I'm sure there'll be plenty more times where I will include denibbing of the base coat and things like that. Just blowing a bit of air across the panel while tack ragging. It also helps to make sure your tack rag doesn't get stuck or caught on anything and you're not putting too much pressure on the paint. I mean, at the end of the day, it's pretty much just latex, this paint anyway, and once it's dry, it's not going anywhere. But it's not worth the risk marking it, you know. There's nothing worse, and especially when you're about to clear and you tack rag everything down and you've got accidentally still got a wet spot of base coat, or you've pushed too hard and you've marked the base, you know, and then you've got to go back and grab your colour gun and fix it up. It's not something you want. So as you see here, I'm winding my fluid tip into 1.25 turns. I didn't bring the gun up to the camera so you can't see it, but I've dropped it down to about 1.1 bar, guys. And I'm just pulling back nicely there. As you can see, the base coat's going on, it's hitting at the panel wet, but it's pretty much drying instantly. I've noticed too, if you don't point the gun in those curves as well, you get dry base coat sitting in there, and all the metallic just stands up, and it's a real pain in the ass to fix. So you put the gun in, point it where it needs to go, and you'll be fine. So I didn't worry about doing the Technique coat on the door there. You guys pretty much get the idea. We're just tack ragging it all off now, getting ready for clear. Some people say don't tack rag it from the drop coat. This is where you made your metallics lie how you want them, etc, etc. But I do it all the time. Just gets rid of any excess dirt and dust before you clear coat. Just to me, it just brings a nicer job. You know, I've done it where I've left it and not tack ragged it, and I've just found that there's been a bit more dust and dirt in my job than when I do tack rag it, guys. So yeah, that's what I do. It works for me. If you have a different way of doing things, by all means, if it works for you, keep going. So I've got the Sarda Jet 5000 RP 1.2 setup going here. We're 2 turns out on the fluid and about between 2 bar and 2.3 bar. Yeah, I find having the air pressure a bit higher on the Toyotas and Mazdas give it that tighter, finer feel. Whereas when you're doing like Mercedes, BMW and whatnot, they have more of a flatter, more flowed out finish. So for them I drop the pressure down to about 2 bar, 1.9 bar. At the end of the day, you just got to try and match what's on the car as best as you can, really. Yeah, so I mentioned I'm using Enviroflow 104 clear, LVC 104. Now, I know some people don't really like the clear, others love the clear. I think it's a matter of opinion, really, each to their own. I mean, I've used this clear coat on family members' cars, and look, it's held up. The gloss, everything looks great still. So I don't know if it's application process, mixing ratios, I don't know what it is that some people have had trouble with. I mean, yeah, for me it's been a good clear so far. Quite durable, holds its gloss. Can't really complain. I will do some videos in the near future too of clear coat review as well. That's another thing too, guys. I'm new to doing all these videos as well, so if you have any suggestions of things you would like to see in my videos, or maybe even some video editing tips, maybe my video is a bit boring or something like that, let me know. I mean, I'm new to this, like I said. I don't know what you guys want to see or what you guys want to hear unless you tell me. So I'm just doing the best I can, and yeah, I'm quite happy to hear from you guys and what you want to see and hear and what you guys actually think. It's good for me to learn too, and hopefully I can make my videos a little as good as I can, so you guys enjoy them and want to see more all the time. But yeah, if you like my video, give it a thumbs up. Tell your friends about it. If you don't like my video, well, let me know. Give me a thumbs down. At the end of the day, like I say, I don't know what you like unless you guys let me know. Yeah, as you can see there, I like to get the gun in fairly close. Spray nice and quick. So those window frames again, if you don't just put that extra coat on, for whatever reason, they tend to be a bit dry. So Yeah, with this clear, you've just got to be careful too when you're putting it on. I've noticed where your base coat sits, the clear doesn't flow out as much as it does where there's no base coat. I mean, like, yeah, well, where there's no base coat, you're basically flow coating it, but it it moves dramatically. So you've just got to kind of move a bit faster or just pull back a bit where there's no base coat. It's not so bad on your second coat. It's more so just your first coat. I have made mistakes in the past. I have had runs because of it, and I know I've mentioned before that when you get runs in this clear, it can be very unforgiving. You're lucky if you can get it out, but that's one of the bad points. I must say, it's a nice clear. It works well, but when shit goes wrong, it goes wrong, and it goes wrong real quick too. So it's taken me a while to learn how to spray this, but just persistence, guys. It's what we have at work now. We've changed from the old stuff, and got no choice. Either learn to use it or go find somewhere else to work. Really. Alright guys, that's it from me for now. I've enjoyed making this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching it, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next one. Alright, see you guys.